All right, first of all, apologies in advance. I'm in a lot of pain due to back problems, and, well, it is what it is. Also, I've recently been thinking maybe I should wait even a lot longer to do reviews, because I did Mandalorian almost immediately after watching it, and then went to bed, because I'm a night owl. And I see the show when it premieres in the morning hours, and then I said, okay, I'll do the review, and then that's that. But the thing about that one is, as I even now still think about it, I like it even less than I did at the initial review. I'm talking about what was it, the fourth episode, the convert, and. Even though I did address a very disturbing scene in it, I think it really topples the show in a lot of ways. So might return to that just for that aspect of it and that sort of thing. So coming on to Picard, thought, well, maybe I should give it some time. So I did about a couple hours. So maybe I should do more. But nothing as disturbing in this, oddly enough, which even after all this, I still see Mandalorian as the superior show. But, well, it's quite a big bump in the road in that last episode. So anyway, this is the time I have. So if I later want to return to it and say, you know what, I changed my mind, that could happen. But last week, the fourth episode of Picard, season 3, I said, well, so far that one was the best one that I had seen. The first 3, I wasn't so wowed by them. And the ongoing theme is there'd been these YouTube channels that I like, people that I kind of trusted or agreed with, usually, not all the time. But all of them had all shared in common the disdain for Bad Robot and Secret Hideout Star Trek. And then they were all saying, well, we got to see some early episodes, in some cases the whole season, and say, well, you know what, it's really good, and we're giving it all this praise. And so of course I said, well, all right, let me look at this. And even now, 5 episodes in, I'm not really seeing the big wonder. We easily conceded it's better than what happened before, but that's not much of a metric, I think, that deserves the praise it got. Only if this had been season 1, we'd be in a different situation. That's true, but that's not how it happened. Other than that, there's a lot of stupid stuff in these episodes too. It's at best an adequate show, and a lot of nods and decorations to the past, which of course you're always going to get some of that, but even in its overall structure, concerning Picard and his son and an old girlfriend, well, that, Wrath of Khan. And there's a lot of elements of that in there. So it's unifying it all and that sort of thing. It on the one hand, I could sort of appreciate it, but on the other, it comes across as cheap. But it is what it is. That's what they did. Can they do a cohesive narrative and story for it? Well, that remains to be seen. But the 4th episode was the best one, just into itself and how it was structured and whatnot. There's still mistakes in it and some stumbles and whatnot. But overall, just the basics of them trying to figure out how do they survive the dilemma they were in. And, again, a lot of stumbles, but it played out so far. In my opinion, this, it was the best one of the group. So here comes episode 5, and I'd heard that, oh man, this one's really good. So I thought, well, maybe this is how it works. It starts off kind of rough, but gets better as you go. And so I thought, well, I did think 4 was, a step above, and so perhaps 5 is even better. Yeah, that's not the case. Now it does have some fairly decent stuff in it. And my guess is a lot of people are overwhelmed by a powerful scene with Picard and an old character from the old show that returns, and the relationship that he had. And I'm being particularly careful not to spoil anything, really. I spoiled stuff in the previous ones about who the villains are and all this type of thing. But the gist of it all is that, yeah, it was an interesting thing. If you watch the old show, this person, the whole thing, and there is a power to that. A lot of times this can be very manipulative as kind of cover of a very lackluster plot and all this stuff. But for the situation they're in, and this is kind of like an espionage sci-fi story of them being infiltrated and all this type of thing, and where it leads. And of course the title's Imposters. So you get the idea here, and you can't trust anybody, and who do you trust, and all this sort of stuff. But it's all overlaid by regrets of the past and relationships that went bad and this sort of thing. And is this our opportunity to seek redemption and fix it and all this type of stuff? And for that part of it, that works. There's the other plot about Picard's son and what's going on with him. The mystery deepens there and that sort of thing. And more redness, if you will, a constant Star Trek trope for bad robot and secret hideout. So there's more of the red mystery. But fine and all that. Really, what kind of stopped its flow is that they last episode they ignored the Raffi and Worf stuff, which I didn't mind so much when Worf finally showed up, because I like Worf. In fact, I think he's probably my favorite character of the Next Generation cast. But it didn't do anything for the show. He's still fine, Michael Dorn, of course, it's great in the character. But the story they did was just stupid. And and dumb things they did with this band of criminals that they have to seek out in order to get information and this type of thing. And it's just a repeat of scenes they'd already done before and that kind of thing. But the gang of criminals, it's really absurd as to who they picked to be this mafioso guys or whatever, and when they could have easily picked another group that would have worked much better, just to get in some stupid lines, I guess. I don't know. It was just cheap and tawdry and stupid. So it kind of just knocked me out of the flow of it. But the rest of it, the intrigue continues. That they jumped out of one bit of fire, out of one frying pan and into another fire, and this type of thing, and for the most part, like I said, there's some adequate performances here. There's some pretty good stuff here and there. But once again, it depends heavily on the past. But that's basically the core of the story of these old heroes one more time, that kind of thing. So, I just give them all that, But yeah, the Worf and Raffi thing, and it's not even Raffi's fault per se. It's just how it was written and the stupid choices they made with it. It was just sloppy. So it's one of those things that just would kick me out of the show, and it kind of did. But then you get back to the Titan and all the stuff going on there. And ultimately, things go very badly. There's a very terrible moment for Picard. And I mean terrible in a good way for drama's sake. It's a powerful moment for him and stuff. And all that, and it's a lot. They're in a lot more trouble than they even realized, and this kind of thing. So it's the midway of a 10-episode story, so you got to expect that, of course, and that's where they are. The only thing is like I've seen what people were saying about Captain Shaw. I'm not that blown away by him. I like the idea of this a-hole captain, and had there been a series where he's just the captain and it's the crew of the Titan and they're off on their own adventures and stuff, that would be an interesting thing, where he doesn't quite get along with his first officer and stuff, and he's an a-hole, but he ends up being an honorable man who does the right thing. It's just a difficult relationship, but it provides an interesting a bit of drama there that you would have in a series. And so he's fine in a lot of ways in providing that angle to it. But once they've gotten through everything, that's still going to be his attitude, but not to the point to where he's not on board with what they're doing after everything he's been through with them and what he's done. And it's kind of a weak moment they have where he's taking too damn long to make a decision when he's the captain of the starship. I mean, he gets back command from Riker and all this sort of stuff. And another mistake and completely unnecessary. I don't know why they have to do it like that and things like it's just an unnecessary, an unforced error. But they did it, So, and another thing is just like, don't tell me he's an imposter, and it's, I don't think so. But that would be really stupid. So anyway, not as good as the previous episode. So right now I'm saying 4 is the best so far. And 5 is kind of a step backward into the kind of stupidity that the other episodes did. So yeah, still not seeing the big wow here, seeing some cool elements here and there, and yeah, it's better, but that's not enough. And but other than that, yeah, this one was something of a disappointment, despite having some really powerful scenes, which I guess in a way that explains why some people were taken with it. And on a certain level I can understand that, but it's not enough for me to say, had I seen it in advance and I would say, oh man, you got to tune in for this, it's not enough for me to say, this is it, Star Trek is back. No. It's still very much into it, too little, too late. So anyway, there we go with Imposters.